So now we're going to combine behavior on our y-axis and time on our x-axis into our remarketing grid. And so again, don't go too crazy with this too early. Far better to start simple. So we might end up with something like this. And if you want to simplify this, then just ignore these 4 columns over here. All I'm saying over here, let me start at the bottom. Well, no, I'll start at the top and work my way down. Not interested people. We are not going to show ads to not interested people. We haven't defined what not interested is yet, but often this can get rid of a chunk of your remarketing spend and dramatically increase results. Your conversion rates go up, Google like you more, your client likes you more, the ROAS from your remarketing ads improves just by stopping showing ads to people that are wasting money. They're clicking on your ads, but they weren't interested the first time round. They're not going to be interested the second time round for the most part. And so just stopping showing ads to that group of people, and that could be half of your remarketing spend in extreme circumstances. Next, we come, remember, down from the top of the funnel down to the bottom. So the further down we go, the more interested in us somebody is. And remember this, our bottom corner down here is the point of likely to be the most profitable. And so people that were just on the website recently and demonstrated a very interested behavior, but they haven't bought yet, this is our best possible group of people to retarget. Probably. These are all guesses and assumptions at this point, but usually that's the case. And so if you can picture then sort of an arc going out from this bottom corner, go upper box and rider box, that's then the next best audience, this group here, and then this is the next best audience. And then if we really wanted to, we could keep on going. But again, let's start simple. So we might start by building an audience of people that have viewed the cart just in the last 7 days, putting those guys into one ad group and bidding that relatively high. Then this box here, these are everybody that's viewed a product on the site but never made it to the cart. Again, we'll worry about how to do this later, but they've just looked at various products, but they never put anything in the cart, or they never viewed the cart page. Or we might also say equally likely-ish to buy are people that made it through to the cart, but they did so a little bit longer ago. In this case, 1 to 2 weeks ago. They're not quite as valuable as the guys that have just left the site, but we still think they're quite valuable. And then right at the top here, we've got people that only ever saw category level pages on our site. They made it past the homepage, but they didn't actually make it into individual product pages. And again, when you get to the data for your particular e-com site, this may or may not be a useful group of people. I am not saying always use these 3 audiences. This is purely an example of different levels of interest, but it's a good place to start and then refine from there. And obviously, again, somebody that viewed the cart but hasn't been to the site in over a couple of weeks, in 2 to 4 week window here, they're less likely to buy as a whole than people that were just on the site, and so therefore we might bid that less. And now this bottom line down here, again, fine if you ignore this for now. This is somebody that's just bought from our website. And again, it depends massively on what it is that you're selling. Are you selling a product that you're expecting people to come back and buy again? Or is this the type of thing that people buy once and then disappear and they don't need for years, in which case you would never show a remarketing ad to buyers? But we'll talk about similar audiences later on. Lookalikes, if you're more familiar with the Facebook side of things, you definitely want to build a similar audience or a lookalike to your buyer's audience. So still create this audience because there are other ways that you can use it, but you might decide, I don't want to show an ad to these people for, let's say, a couple of months. But if I popped up between month 2 and month 3 here, between day 61 and day 90, and showed an ad to past buyers for a small window of time, that might help bring them back to buy something else or to repeat purchase of some form. And then just for illustration, again, you do not have to set it up this way. I'm just showing that it is possible then to turn those ads off for a bit by using our exclusions and then turn ads back on. So remember, target the 150-day list and exclude the 120-day list would end up showing just adds to people in that little box down there. So I've talked about a whole bunch of different durations. The way you do this, obviously, is to set up multiple lists. So it's the same targeting, it's the same group, or it's the same behavior, I should say, and you're going to set up multiple lists with different durations, they're called, inside of Google Ads. So you're going to have a 7-day duration list, a 15, a 30, a 60, a 90, 120, 150, if you wanted to replicate that particular remarketing grid. And I just wanted to make a note here on the 1-day list. So it's pretty rare that you're going to use a 1-day list from a targeting point of view, unless you have a lot of traffic and therefore you have a decent number of people on that list to be able to target. The reason that I like to build this 1-day list is from a tracking point of view, from a anomaly detection, a spotting if things have gone wrong point of view. If you have a 30-day list, it might take quite a long time to notice that maybe someone's deleted your remarketing code, or maybe they've only deleted it from one useful page. Let's say your cart page. Somebody made a change to the cart, they've added some new widget in Shopify, it's changed the cart page, and now your remarketing code has disappeared. If you're only using a 30-day list, it's probably going to take some time before you notice the difference in that list. It's just going to sort of drift down slowly. Your remarketing results are going to get slightly worse. The number of impressions you're going to be able to show gets slightly lower over time, but it's not immediately obvious. But if you build a 1-day list, the people on that list are immediately going to drop to 0, and then instantly you know you have a problem. Now, unfortunately, at this point in time, it's not possible to pull out from Google Ads the number of people on each of your remarketing lists. I'd love to be able to build a dashboard of that so that we could then build an alert off the back of that dashboard to say, hey, tell me if this number here drops to 0. It's probably going to be something that you check occasionally, or maybe have somebody else check for you. Maybe you've got a VA that can check that list on a regular basis. Maybe even it's just once a week. Just log in, it's going to take 5 seconds, scan their eye down that list, and let you know if any of those numbers are 0.